What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sir Splash. I posted it in my community tab. By the way, always make sure to pay attention to that. But I had lost my voice recently for my main job. I did a really long podcast. Ended up basically losing my voice. Somewhat gained it back. Still sound a little rough, but today I owe you guys a couple videos. So after this one releases, I will be trying to post the conclusion of Team Urameshi versus Team Naruto. So make sure to give that a view. This video in particular is a follow up to a part one I made of what if Anakin Skywalker and Galen Marek, aka Starkiller, grew up together. Now, if you haven't seen part one, stop the video. Link will be in the description. Please go view part one to catch up on the story I've created. If you have seen it, then stick around and we are beginning. So, previously, what we left off on was Anakin tried to stop Mace Windu from executing uh, Darth Sidious in the office, similar to Revenge of the Sith. However, Galen Marek, who is the student of Mace Windu in this timeline, stops Anakin from interfering and engages Anakin in a duel. The duel concludes when Mace Windu ends up executing Darth Sidious. Anakin realizes what he's done, comes to his senses. Now, after this, Order 66 has been stayed. Nothing happened. And Anakin does some time in jail for his crimes. However, it is understood by wiser masters like Kenobi and Yoda that Anakin was acting under extreme duress. They could have done more for him. They realized they somewhat failed him when it came to emotionally helping him. So they understood how someone like Darth Sidious was able to get to him and compromise him, as well as they understood Anakin wasn't inherently evil. He was just desperate to save his family. So they understand that, and while the Republic wants to see him do a little time, they give him a little time, but he gets out pretty fast, and he gets out in time to see his kids and Padme. When this happens, Anakin decides to take his family and move to a remote planet. Doesn't matter what the planet name is. We're just gonna, it's unnecessary. But anyways, takes his family to a remote planet and decides to live there and be happy with his family in the coming years because he's tired of both Jedi and Sith, just that kind of lifestyle, and the galaxy seems to be at peace right now due to the death of Sidious. So, fast forward about 15 years, a couple things have happened. One, Luke Skywalker grows up, and after training with Anakin, decides he wants to be a Jedi. Anakin agrees and lets him go off to the academy. Now, here's the thing. This is why I believe Anakin would allow that. Anakin, better than anyone, understands the danger of restricting someone's right to choose, someone's right to pick their own path. Jedi did it to him constantly when he was under their tutelage, and he's not going to subject his son to that. So he lets him follow his dream and remains on the planet with Leia and Padme. Now, Galen Marek and Mace Windu receive word of a Sith cult operating several star systems away, and they choose to investigate. By this point, Galen Marek is an esteemed master, an absolute beast, as is Mace Windu. And when they arrive on this planet, the overwhelming sensation of the dark side is there. They're confronted by the cult, but the cult is not an issue. As they ignite their lightsabers, Galen hears a sinister laugh, and as they both turn, Mace Windu is struck by a fierce bolt of lightning, killing him. Darth Sidious, in a young clone form, steps forward, and Galen steps up, but when he steps up, he's brought to his knees by the full power of this returned Sidious. Sidious breaks the will of Galen Marek. Now, you may be wondering, how is he able to do that? One, I'm operating off the pretense similar to Dark Empire Sidious, in which his power is extraordinary, much stronger than what we see in the canon versions. Two, Galen Marek learned Vapad under Mace Windu. Vapad is walking a dangerous line between the good side and the bad side, All it takes is a push, and no one is better at giving that push and breaking someone's will than Darth Sidious. After breaking and subjecting Galen to, numerous of dark side incantations and power, Darth Sidious, appoints Galen Marek as his Sith King, with Sidious taking the role as the god of the Sith. He now sees himself as a godlike figure. Galen Marek, Starkiller, will be his knight, his king, his right-hand man, a much better version of what Darth Vader in the suit would have been. Of course, it didn't happen in this timeline, but this is like an extreme version of that Darth Vader, much more capable. Now, with this in mind, Galen takes this dark side cult and their army, starts ravaging the star systems, going place to place, taking out Jedi. Now, when it comes to this Sith cult, they're reasonably trained. I'd put them around like Inquisitor level, but they have Galen Marek leading the way, an esteemed Jedi practitioner turned king of the Sith. Really no hope. They start overwhelming the Jedi. Now, understanding the situation they're in, Yoda and Kenobi stand and face their enemy as Galen Marek and Sidious himself come to their planet. As they engage, Galen Marek is dueling Kenobi and mortally wounds him. Yoda, enraged by the sight of his fallen friends, tells Kenobi to go get him. And he force pushes Galen away and decides to duel both of Galen and Sidious as Kenobi flees to his ship. Kenobi escapes, taking off into space. Now, Yoda is holding his own. However, these two are insanely powerful. Luke Skywalker jumps in. Luke, while inherently strong and well practiced under his dad in the Jedi Academy, gets knocked out by Galen Marek, and Yoda is brought down by the combined might of Galen Marek and Darth Sidious, sending a dark shudder throughout the hearts of every Jedi. Luke is taken hostage, and the Sith Lords retreat to their home planet. Now, Kenobi arrives on Anakin's planet. When he gets there, he hobbles off, and Anakin meets his old master, worried look on his face. And Kenobi says, "You have to stop them." Skywalker stares at him, understands the plight he's in, and Kenobi says, "I think they took Luke." And that is when Kenobi says, "Save him," and dies. So Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda have fallen. Anakin takes the lightsaber of Kenobi, as well as his own, and embarks to save his son. Now, it does take a little bit of time to get to the Sith planet, but he does. On the Sith planet, the Sith cult is gathered around, with Galen and Sidious there as well. And Luke is chained to a table. They are beginning a Sith ritual in which essence transfer will occur. Essentially, Darth Sidious is removing himself to put himself into Luke Skywalker. The reason he's doing this is the vessel of Luke Skywalker is by far the best opportunity for Sidious to express his full power in the dark side. He needs a stronger body. This makes sense as he constantly pursued that in the extended universe. Anakin arrives before the process begins. As he approaches, the Inquisitors turn to face him, and with a wave of his hand, Anakin snaps all of their necks. Now, you may be wondering, when did Anakin ever show this type of stuff? This is a matured Anakin. This is an Anakin that has been off alone for 15 years, praying and strengthening himself in the Force. He's an absolute monster at this point. Galen Marek steps forward, eager to engage his former friend. Anakin stares at him and says, "I wish it wasn't you, but it is what it is, homie," and picks him up and crushes him. He proceeds to pick up Sidious as well and crush him too. Both are weak compared to the might of this nearly fully realized Anakin Skywalker. As Anakin frees his son from the table, Luke is excited, but Anakin says, "Get to the ship, get out of here. It is not safe." Luke is confused and he says, "Father, you just killed Sidious and Galen. We should be fine." He says, "No. Get back to your planet, get back to home, take care of the family." Luke knows better than to argue with Anakin at this point, leaves his father, and goes back to his planet with Leia and Padme. After he leaves, Anakin turns around and calmly says, "You may show yourself." Out from behind the throne of Sidious steps the Son. Yes, this is the Son from Mortis, the living incarnation of the dark side itself. Anakin stares at him, Son stares back, and Anakin says, "You pulled it off." And Son said, "Yes." So here's what, basically happened in the series. This has actually been touched on in canon as well in the Clone Wars show. Son and daughter are constantly at war. One is the living embodiment of the dark side, one is the living embodiment of good, which is daughter. Son and daughter constantly clash, trying to overpower each other. Father tries to keep the balance. They are the three Celestials. Now, Son constantly was plotting on both of them, and in this timeline, he successfully murdered father and daughter. So, Son stares back at Anakin, and Anakin says, "I'm not going to let you leave." And Son says, "Neither will I." And both engage in an insane duel. While Son is the living embodiment of the dark side, some hypothesized and even believed that Anakin could achieve the power of Father. As they fight, the entire star system itself begins to shake. Planets are starting to break. Their might is too powerful. Understanding this, Anakin manages to open an ethereal portal to Mortis and throws both of them into it. Inside this realm, the two once more engage. As powerful as Son is, especially without daughter and father standing to attest him and to protest against his power, Anakin is truly the chosen one. As he holds off the attack of Son, he summons the dagger of Mortis to him and puts it through the heart of Son. Anakin stands over the dead body of Son and sighs. He is tired, he is weary, but he knows what he has to do. With tears in his eyes, Anakin takes the throne of the fallen father and presides over the Force as the balance. Yes, so at this point, Anakin was thought to be able to replace Father. That's what he does in this story. He resides over the Force, hoping to maintain balance, as inevitably both the light side and the dark side of the Force will rise once more. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. If you liked the video, please let me know down below. I enjoyed doing this series. I enjoyed this twist ending. If you liked it, let me know. If you want more what if stories, let me know as well. Like, subscribe, comment. It's been your boy Sir Splash, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.